Kia ora this week has been dominated by high pressure, which has led to plenty of really classic wintry days of clear blue sky and sunshine, and in some really cold, frosty nights. As we head through the rest of today for Friday, well, it's a similar story. We're going to keep hold of this high pressure. Up north, we have got another area of low pressure, which brings more cloud and some wetter weather in towards northland towards the end of the day. But for most of us, we've finished the week dry and fine, plenty of clear sky. As we go through the night time tonight into the early hours of Saturday, those clear skies will mean it's cold and frosty once again, so a chilly old start to Saturday. But you can see as we head through the daytime, this next area of wet weather moves in from the north, which gives us more cloud over the top of Northland, Auckland. Some of those showers reaching in towards Auckland, the Coromandel by the end of the day. And the far southern areas of the country, another front moves up from the south. Now that does bring some pretty strong northwesterly winds, so perhaps not as cold down south either. But between those two systems, there's plenty of dry weather. And for places like Canterbury, Marlborough, Tasman, Wellington, Saturday looks to be a fine day with plenty of sunshine as well. Now, overnight Saturday into Sunday, we also find some milder air back in towards us. So not as cold for the likes of Northland, Auckland, Waikato, as we head in towards the early hours of Sunday morning. Still cold though, and I think still frosty through parts of Canterbury. For Sunday, what we'll find is this wet weather continues to move across the top of the country. So rainfall feeds into Bear plenty in towards Tairāwhiti and perhaps even in towards parts of Wairarapa as well. But for Wellington, Marlborough, Tasman, well, in fact most of Canterbury, it stays dry. Down in the south, we have this next front running in, and that brings that rainfall in towards parts of Fiordland and Southland. But again, there's still plenty of dry weather on the Southland, and I think we'll still find some clear skies through Canterbury. So a pretty decent place to be for the weekend. Now you can see as we head through towards the end of the day on Sunday, the return of some snowfall over the higher parts of Fiordland. That's cold southerly air being pushed back in, and as we head in towards Monday, we'll find that cold air moves further northwards, bringing with it the risk of some snowfall over the higher ground of Southland, Otago and Canterbury. Also some pretty strong southerlies pushing their way up the country. Monday though generally starts off pretty grim across the Northland, fairly cloudy with some showers or longer spells of rain. And you can see by the end of the day that rainfall runs up the Southland, reaching in towards the likes of Marlborough, North Canterbury, still with that risk of some snowfall over the higher parts of Canterbury and even in towards parts of Marlborough by the end of the night. It's still fairly high, but I think it's a good indication this is cold air back up and across. There's still some showers down the south with those southerly winds, mainly for the lower coastal parts of Southland and Otago. On in towards Tuesday, those southerly winds are still with us, making it feel very cold for the likes of Canterbury, particularly places like Banks Peninsula where it sticks out there. Even up towards Wellington, strong cold southerlies push through, still giving a fair number of showers. So our temperatures on the cold side. And I think it's worth saying, although that snow is of about 400 or 500 metres through the Southland, that's still low enough to impact some of those roads and some of those high-level farms. So worth keeping a close eye on our severe weather outlook, which you can find over on the MetService website. You can see behind things, this is that area of wet weather we've had through the weekend, start of next week or Monday, Tuesday. Southerly winds, cold air back with us, but generally an area of high pressure. I think things are drier for the end of next week. For the week's rainfall totals though, you can see we have got that rain coming in from the north and the west. It does give more wet weather across the North Island than we've seen over the last few days. But I think for Friday, places like Wellington, Hawke's Bay, even through Saturday, it stays dry. And on the South Island, I think there's still plenty of dry weather until we head through towards, let's say, Sunday when that rain starts to push up from the south. Now, this is all our rainfall accumulation, but it's worth saying, with that cold air and that moisture, some of it will fall as snowfall, particularly above about 600 metres or so across those central parts of the South Island. So it is going to be, I think, a wintry story through some of those areas. But even if you don't get the snowfall, if that falls on the hills above you, you're still going to find it stays fairly cold and something to watch out for as we head through in towards the next few days. But here we are, you can see those white colours just increasing a bit there as we head through in towards the start of next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, really over the higher ground of the Southland, high enough to impact those higher passes, but also those higher mountain farms as well. Now, unsurprisingly, with the return of that cold air, you can see it in our air mass change. There's that that northwesterly, which does bring some milder air for a time as we head through Sunday and perhaps the first part of Monday. But it's that division between the milder air in the north and the cold air creeping northwards as we head through in towards next week. Cold air being dragged up by those southerly winds, a real change in our air mass. As we head in towards the middle part of next week, we'll have high pressure over us, which gives us, again, nice clear skies and I think some real cold nights coming up. You can see the high pressure here looking like it sticks with us as we head through towards, say, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Generally dry, clear skies, light winds, that cold air already firmly in place, some more cold, frosty nights. And again, I think that high pressure stays then with us through towards, well, next weekend. But I think we are looking at some wetter weather, particularly for Monday, Tuesday. Like I say, the return of those cold southerlies, the chance of the snowfall over the higher parts of Canterbury and Otago. It's worth keeping a close eye on the severe weather outlook. You can find that over at MetService.com.